Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived a lazy but clever cat named Whiskers. Unlike his sleek and agile feline brethren, who prowled the night in search of prey, Whiskers preferred the comforts of his simple life. He spent his days basking in the warm sunlight, grooming his thick fur and surveying his domain from the porch of a cozy cottage. His human companion, an old woman named Martha, doted on him, providing him with endless head scratches and bowls of fresh milk. One day, driven by an insatiable curiosity, Whiskers decided to explore beyond the familiar surroundings of his home. He sauntered through the village, rubbing against the legs of unsuspecting pedestrians and leaping gracefully over garden walls until he came across a large pond shrouded in an unnatural silence. Its surface, usually teeming with leaping fish, was eerily still, as if every living creature had been put to sleep. Intrigued by this sudden stillness, Whiskers cautiously approached the edge of the pond and peered into its depths. To his astonishment, he saw a fish unlike any he had ever seen before. It was enormous, shimmering with an otherworldly glow, and seemed to be emanating a strange energy. As he watched, mesmerized, the fish suddenly broke the surface and stared directly at him with intelligent eyes that seemed to twinkle with mischief. "Well, well," boomed the fish in a deep, resonant voice. "What have we here? A curious cat, I presume." Startled by the fish's sudden appearance, and even more so by its ability to speak, Whiskers instinctively took a step back. Who are you?" he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. The fish chuckled, a sound like pebbles cascading down a stream. "A name is but a whisper on the wind, little cat. You may call me the guardian of this pond." It paused, its gaze fixed on Whiskers, and continued. "And you, my furry friend, have stumbled upon a most extraordinary opportunity." Before Whiskers could even utter a response, the fish plunged back into the water, leaving him alone on the bank with a myriad of questions swirling in his mind. But his confusion was soon replaced by curiosity, and then by an insatiable desire for answers. What did the fish mean by this extraordinary opportunity? Was it merely a figment of his imagination? A trick of the light and the heat? Or was there truly something more? Something magical at play? Unable to resist the allure of the unknown, Whiskers resolved to return to the pond the following day and uncover the truth. The next morning, as the first rays of sunlight began to chase away the shadows of the night, Whiskers found himself drawn back to the enigmatic pond. As he approached, he noticed that the surface was once again alive with movement, fish of all shapes and sizes darting and weaving in and out of each other. Yet a strange sense of anticipation made him wait, hoping for another glimpse of the wise fish from the day before. Time seemed to stretch on forever, and just when his hopes began to dwindle, he saw it, the same fish from yesterday, swimming towards him with an expectant look in its eyes. "You've come back," it said, its voice echoing with amusement. "I knew you would, little cat. Your curiosity is your greatest virtue, and today it has brought you great fortune." Fortune? Whiskers thought, puzzled. What could this strange fish possibly offer him? Before he could question it further, the fish continued, its tone now becoming more serious. "As a reward for your unwavering curiosity and kind heart, I will grant you 3 wishes. Anything you desire, I shall bring to fruition." Whiskers couldn't believe his ears. Wishes? Was this a dream? But the fish's expectant eyes and sincere tone left no room for doubt. For a moment, he was lost for words, the enormity of what was being offered to him, sinking in. To have any 3 wishes granted was beyond his wildest dreams. Each wish carried the potential to change his life in ways he hadn't even imagined. The possibilities danced in his head, each more fantastical than the last. But amidst the whirlwind of thoughts, one question stood out. Why was he being granted these wishes? What had he done to deserve such a reward? As if reading his mind, the fish spoke again. "Your kindness and gentle soul are all the reason you need, little cat. But choose wisely, for each wish is a precious gift and should not be taken lightly." With that, the fish disappeared beneath the water, leaving Whiskers alone with his thoughts and his 3 wishes. He pondered for a long time, trying to think of wishes that would bring him true happiness, not fleeting moments of pleasure or luxury, but something that would enrich his life in a meaningful way. Finally, after much deliberation, his wishes came to him in a rush. First, he wished for endless fish. The pond's guardian had already impressed upon him the significance of being careful with his wishes. So, instead of wishing for riches or power, he opted for something simple yet profound, a life filled with abundance and nourishment. His second wish was for a cozy bed, a place where he could curl up and feel safe and warm, a sanctuary from the outside world. And finally, his third and perhaps most whimsical wish was for a bell that chimed softly. He didn't quite understand this wish himself, but something about the tinkling sound resonated deep within him. As his wishes were granted one by one, Whiskers couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction and contentment. The fish, true to its word, had made his dreams a reality. Looking back, he realized that his simple wishes held more value and promise for his future than any other grander desires could have. With his wishes fulfilled, Whiskers knew it was time to say goodbye to the pond's guardian. He dipped his paws into the cool water, a silent thank you to the magical fish. The pond's surface rippled as the fish rose to the top, its eyes twinkling with wisdom and kindness. "Go now, Whiskers," it said, its voice echoing with warmth, "and may your life be filled with the joys your wishes have brought you." And so, with a final flick of its tail, the fish disappeared below the water's surface, leaving Whiskers alone by the pond. As he turned to go, a soft chime echoed through the air, drawing his attention back to the surface of the pond. There, nestled amongst the water lilies, hung a small bell, its gentle tinkling a soothing melody in the air. Whiskers, filled with gratitude, turned and walked away from the pond. Each step he took was lighter than the last. The weight of his former life, with its mundane routines and longing for something more, seemed to have vanished along with his doubts and fears. In its place was a lightness of being, a sense of purpose and contentment. He bounded up the nearby hill, eager to share his good fortune with Martha. As he raced towards home, he could hear the soft chime of the bell he'd wished for, its melody blending with the song of the birds and the rustling of leaves, creating a symphony of joy that echoed the tune of his heart. When he reached Martha's cottage, he was greeted by the familiar sight of the old woman sitting in her rocking chair, a half-finished cup of tea cooling on the table beside her. As she looked up and saw Whiskers, a wide smile spread across her wrinkled face. She rose from her chair and knelt down to pet him, her touch as warm and comforting as the hearth they shared. "Oh, Whiskers, you're back," she exclaimed, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "I was beginning to worry. Did you find something interesting?" Little did she know how right she was. That evening, as Martha and Whiskers sat by the fire, a comfortable silence settled between them. The events of the day, both ordinary and extraordinary, swirled in Whiskers' mind. Should he tell Martha about his wishes, about the magical fish and its enigmatic words, or would it be best to keep these adventures to himself? He looked up at Martha, her face illuminated by the flickering flames, and decided in that moment to keep his wishes a secret, at least for now. The cozy cottage, once filled only with the crackle of the fire, now echoed with the faint chime of a magic bell. And as Whiskers curled up on his new and very comfortable bed, he knew that his life, like the wishes he'd made, had changed in ways he'd never imagined possible. The day had begun with uncertainty and ended with magic, reminding him that sometimes the greatest adventures are hidden beneath the surface of the ordinary. And so, under the soft glow of the hearth and the watchful gaze of the stars, Whiskers drifted off to sleep, purring softly. His dreams were filled with images of a magical fish, a whispering pond, and the sweet chime of a distant bell. It was a lullaby that promised adventure, reminding him that even in the quietest moments, magic was waiting to be discovered.